Well, Sean Lennon, right now we are welcoming Moondog Greg Murray. Make sure to check him out. #1 contender match for the Second Wrestling Maxwell Street Heritage Champion this Sunday at Second Wrestling. Make sure to be there for Second Wrestling Redemption at Dirty Nelly's in Palatine, Illinois. And Greg will be facing the former champion Ezio Orlandi, Darius Latrell, Stampede, Jackson Larkin, and Sabotage Sean Logan. Make sure to check that out. It's going to be one heck of a show this Sunday. And that's going to be coming at you at Second Wrestling Redemption. Now, if that's not enough for you to see for Greg Murray, also we've got Friday, June 28th. Moondog Greg Murray and Chris, the career killer Miller, will be taking on Eddie Grayson, Jack Valor at NWA Chicago Endless Summer. So that's going to be one heck of a match because that's going to be both Moondog and Chris Miller. Actually, all four of these competitors will be their debuts. And what a time to be a professional wrestler. Greg, I'm sure you didn't realize you would be this busy and this occupied, I'm sure, when you started off, just a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah. Like 3.5 years in officially on the 24th of June, be 3.5 years. So I think I'm doing good. And sometimes I got to remind myself that because, sometimes you question yourself and wonder like, oh man, am I doing enough? This, that, and the other. Right. And then you remember, yeah, I think we can always do more, but like doing pretty okay.
I'd say you're doing a lot, my friend. I mean, you did 5 days of I think work, right? And you had posted publicly.
Yeah.
Game
yeah. I did, 5 days of work TNA. Of extra work for TNA the last week, and those were insane because it was pretty much 5 12-hour days. Right. We were building the stage, the ring, and such. I obviously can't talk too much about the tapings. Those will air eventually, of course. But like the pay-per-view and such, it was, it's always humbling when you do extra work like that because it really makes being a wrestler and the wrestling portion of it so almost the easy part because there's all these people who are filming it, how it needs to be filmed, how it needs to be shot,
right,
how the stage needs to be set up, that sort of deal. And every time I do something like that, whether it be for TNA or NWA or whoever, it really humbles you. You're like, wow, this, because it's overwhelming also sometimes, and you don't want to be in anybody's way, you don't want to cross anybody the wrong way. But it's such a great opportunity to just create connections, because I met a couple Michigan guys and that we all exchanged social medias and such. So it was cool meeting all of them. And I got to be able to add, like Johnny Bravo, who I think is a executive there, and interact with him, and then interact with Daniel Spencer and Frank the ref. So again, making these connections I wouldn't have made had I not done it. So if you ever find yourself if you ever think you can make let me start over. If that opportunity presents itself to you and you're a wrestler, do it because it's it's hard work, it's grunt work, but again, it's all about paying dues and hopes that there's a big reward down at the end of the tunnel. But so definitely, I would definitely do it again. I'm sure once I find out when they're coming back, I'll probably, see what I can do, get on that team again and go from there.
Awesome. That's great. You're getting that exposure. And we did see some local wrestlers, we won't mention, get some opportunity on the TV tapings as well. We won't mention because they're not on, they're, and what people will find out later on, but it's pretty cool that we had Rafael and Quintero. That was Rafael Quintero and Torero. Yeah, they were publicly announced to be on the show.
Yeah, they were announced before then. But yeah, definitely look out for those episodes of TNA the next few weeks. They're going to be fun and great wrestling as always. And I'm excited to see everybody's reaction to seeing anybody who's a local Chicago scene fan are probably going to be happy.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, let's talk about some of the stuff you've done. You've been a former POW champion. You've wrestled for CSW, took on the Brass. This was you got your thumb smashed for that in an effort to combat them. You've wrestled for JWA, Damage Inc., Northland Pro, and you held tag team championships with Joey Mayberry at you are currently the champion, currently holding for All Heel Wrestling, but we don't know when they are returning. But wow, that's a lot. Now I'm sure there's more than what I'm mentioning, because I know you've been out to California for shows. You did a Pride show recently. You were part of and obviously less than a year ago you were part of GCW and the FE Big Gay Brunch. So I'm sure there's much more than what I mentioned, but just that alone is like that's a wealth of wow, a great resume.
Yeah, pretty decent resume, And again, you get in your head, you think, you just dog yourself, no pun intended, but like how you just listed it all right there, it kind of sometimes you gotta be reminded of that. It's like, oh yeah, that is a lot. So.
And I failed to mention, are you still currently the JWA Tag Team Champions with Wyatt Montgomery?
Yes, me and Lee Wyatt are still tag team champions. Wyatt will not be there this Saturday due to his knee buckling last month. He should be good to go by July though. So for now, me and Bernardino this Saturday.
Oh wow! So that happened probably like one of the last shows he did in May, right?
Yeah, the last JWA show when it was me and him versus Pancho Garcia and FXB, which I can't wait for the match to come out. That was so good.
Okay.
So
I can't wait.
Look forward to that match.
What are the plans for you then at this next upcoming JWA event?
I'll be wrestling Alex Bernardino and his singles.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of shakeups over there too. I know they just crowned a new heavyweight champion in Hans Karten.
Yes, very happy for Hans, because I think Hans is really that whole Alpha Zeta Zeta group. Now they're kind of all broken up, but like they are underrated and underappreciated because they are entertaining, and I think they're all really decent workers. Hans and Gonzo especially. Charlie is such a strong personality, strong character, that I'm glad that he's getting that chance to be at NWA. I'm glad that Hans is getting. He's the JWA champ. He's the Discovery champ at Galley. And then Gonzo's the Badger State champ for JWA, and I know Gonzo was able to get some extra work with New Japan when they were in Chicago. So I just think they're so underrated and so underused, and it's not fair, because I think those guys are just so good. I love those three.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you guys kind of like came up in training around the same time. Am I correct? Or
yeah, when I got into CSW in August of 21, they were there. And I think we pretty much all had the same. They might have had like a couple months on me, but pretty much about the same playing field. And thankfully, we got to wrestle a few times. I got to work Gonzo and Hans in singles. I don't remember if I've ever worked Charlie in a singles. I've definitely worked him in a tag though. But again, for guys at the level that they're really good and entertaining. So I think more people ought to, reach out to them, bring them in, or do whatever with them.
Oh yeah, especially Hans. He's been doing this thing in Galley. I don't know if you've seen it, where he's speaking Spanish.
Yeah, he learned Spanish, and I think that's so cool. It kind of it's making us other gringos look like crap, because it's something we ought to be doing too, learning a little bit of Spanish for a predominantly Spanish-speaking audience in the Chicago scene. So good on Hans, because that's definitely going to set him apart from a lot of us guys on the lucha scene.
Yeah, and is there any plans for you to be back in Galley?
I'll be going back in. I wasn't booked for. I believe it was Galley Vasario. I think they had another show that I wasn't able to make, but I should be July 14th. One of those is somewhere in July. It's funny when Carlos was at TNA, and when I said Carlos was like, "Hey, see you, man." I said, "Yeah, I'll see you in July." He goes, "Oh yeah, July, yeah, I'll see you then." It's like, guy,
Yeah, you never know.
July, man.
Never know. He might need you sooner, right?
Maybe, because they'll have some impromptu shows, and I really wish I was able to do that. I think it was Vegan Fest in Tinley Park, but I had POW that day. And the distance, it was like an hour and a half distance, and when you count traffic, there's no way I would have been able to do both. Because
Right.
Fox Lake is up by me in Woodstock, Belvedere area.
For sure. Well, so let's talk about this match in particular. When you look at your opponents for Second Wrestling Redemption, how excited are you to be in the ring with these first-time opponents? I think most of them are first time, wouldn't you say? Or have you wrestled any of them?
I think I wrestled Larkin, and I wrestled Larkin last time I was there. It was a 3-4-way. It was one of those.
Yes, I remember.
Ezio, I'm hyped to wrestle, and we got a little bit of a taste of it when we did a Chavo Guerrero seminar, and we got to play around, and he's legit. So I had to learn pretty quick, like, oh crap, he's not playing around. He's legit. So definitely excited because I know he's not gonna hold back. Sean Logan, I was another guy I'm excited to get in the ring with. I love the social media stuff. I remember it was All Star Lucha when I was still with them. They only drew like 10 people. So Sean and this was like one of their first shows.
Okay.
So Sean and I've heard they've done much better, which I'm happy for them. I remember Sean and his opponent were like, what's great, let's have fun, and they just rolled around Berwyn at the Eagles Club, just fought each other. I think they did like a crazy bump on the outside. Who else? Who else is in this match? Darius Latrell, is that his name?
Yes, the one-man dynasty.
Yeah, him definitely looking forward to, because I know he was on AEW extra team with Axel Rico and somebody else. So definitely excited to get that experience with him. So there was Larkin, there was Logan, there was Ezio, and there was Latrell. Am I missing anybody?
That's who I have. Ezio, Darius, Stampede, Sabotage Sean. I think it's five people.
Yeah. Okay. So I named all of them. Just my memory. So like I said, the TNA, it was 5 12-hour days, and then today, at my day job, I was supposed to just work till 4, and then it turned into a 10.5-hour day. So I'm fried. But
no worries.
At least, But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that, and the opportunity. The winner faces AJ Francis for the belt in July.
Yeah.
And gosh, it's funny because how I planned it was, former WWE superstar, this and the other. Then I see him at TNA. And then and at MLW and all that, I'm reminded he's more than just a former WWE superstar. He's a player, So something I think that's something I'm underestimating. So definitely got to remember that if I'm going to go into this match with him in July. That's if I win this scramble.
For sure.
So we could pull out this victory. Otherwise, whoever wins that, it's a pretty big match with AJ Francis. So.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. I can't wait to see what happens with this one. It's exciting. I know we talked to Ezio after his last match. I don't know if you saw the video I recently posted, but he's geared up. That was kind of moments after he lost. But I know since then he's geared up and he's ready to go.
Oh, absolutely. I believe it.
So, and then he did a couple CSW events.
Did he?
Pre-shows, I think.
Pre-shows? Okay, yeah, I think I remember him popping up at the pre-show.
Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, no, talk about second wrestling overall. How this has got a championship that is universal, right? Men and women can face each other. It's intergender, and I don't believe you've had any intergender matches yet. Not like one-on-one intergenders. I know you had kind of like the one at GCW that was kind of like a mixed tag or whatever.
Yeah, I've only been in tags. First ever woman I wrestled was Dakota Holiday. It was a tag match at All Heel. Second was, or not the promotion, but the second time I was ever was me and Mateo Valentine versus Shelly, the Bombshell, and Joey Mayberry at LLT. And then like you said, that gay brunch match I think was the last time I was in an intergender match. So again, all team, never one-on-one. I'd love to have a one-on-one. The only time I've ever been one-on-one in a match with a girl was Lily Pescadita in practice, but that's about it.
Okay, Mr. Kate is the champion, so I'm sure you're excited to, obviously get opportunity at her as anyone else on the second roster.
Yeah, if I can get an opportunity with her, but the target right now is that Maxell Street Heritage belt. But I'm not opposed to wrestling Mr. Kate, obviously, or Billy Starks or any one of them, because like they bring in some pretty big female players at second, and that's what I really enjoy about second is I get to rub elbows with some really good up and coming wrestlers and such, and those are who are on currently stars like Billy Starks, in Ring of Honor, and Mr. Kate, who's in NWA, the pretty blessed with that, because I know when I got like a little bit of heat with people, because I know a lot of people wanted to be on second. They want to be on second.
Yes.
And I remember when I got the first opportunity, there was a couple people like, oh, I can't think of that term, where it's like it's a compliment, but they're kind of, you could tell they're kind of like, they're upset it's not them, Yeah. But and so it is what it is. I think they're probably way over it by now, but it's funny. So I know second wrestling is definitely a place to be, because if you get that kind of reaction from people, So but I love that promotion. Rabbi Jeremy Fine is awesome. We text every now and again, just to talk to each other. But definitely great. Always, like, if second wrestling is by you, definitely hit up the show. You'll have a fun time. It's great athletic wrestling and some really fun characters. And it's family friendly too. So if you got kids, please bring them by. They'll have a ball.
Oh yeah, that definitely, they are going for that very much. But they still appeal to fans that are older like myself.
Oh, of course,
they have a good mix.
They try. They want everybody,
Yes, for sure. All inclusive. And so when we talk about the intergender, I have to ask you about, what did you think of Skye Blue and Kyle Fletcher? And then kind of like, maybe you might have seen them, and then wow, they're having a match, they're playing something tonight, and like, well, what was your take on what went down in the locker room and CSW, and of course the fans being shocked?
So crazy part was that was the show I put my notice in. And Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher walked through the door. So chose a pretty wild day to do that. But it was cool, and Kyle was polite. Will was like, everyone was blown away by how really cool Will was, because Will comes in and goes, I love your hat, bro, because I was wearing I was trying a top hat look, and when the NWA thing popped up, I had somebody there already wears a top hat, so I stitched it. So for a show, for 2-3 shows, I wore a top hat, but I got rid of it. But I was wearing one at that show, and he goes, I love your hat, bro. I was like, oh, thank you. So then I went in the locker room, and Joey Mayberry comes in, and he's like, Will Ospreay just said he loves my outfit. And I was like, that's so cool. And then later, Shelly and somebody else were trying to do this move. They were like running through it, and Will sees it and Will's watching it, and he has this look like, I want to help, I want to help, I want to help, but he's holding him back, and then finally he just gets up. I don't mean to interrupt, but do you mind if I have a suggestion, if you don't mind? And they're like, oh yeah, absolutely, or excuse my language. Oh, absolutely. And he was like trying to help them and show them whatever it was they were doing. And again, everybody's kind of watching this going, this is wild.
Yes,
Like,
that's amazing.
And he kept apologizing. He goes, I'm so sorry for interrupting. I'm so sorry for butting in. And they're like, no, thank you. We appreciate you a lot. But like you could tell that tells me, I think, like, as he probably slows down, he'll probably be a pretty good trainer. I think he has trained people, actually, now that I think about it. But but I could see him being a pretty good trainer, because like the way he was able to level with Shelly and whoever they were talking to was really good. But yeah, so the match happened, and it was a really good match. Like they had the crowd, and it was just crazy. It was insanity, because I remember Kyle comes out and the crowd's like, oh yay, oh hey, that's Kyle Fletcher, yay. And then when Will Ospreay's music hits, the roof almost comes off the building, and out comes Ospreay. It was like, oh my god. And they had a really good match. And I saw your post being like, whoa, what the hell? Because you weren't at the show. And it was a little saying, we can't post the match. And I was like, I remember sitting there, when I saw the post, I'm like, because in the back of my head, I'm like, why have the match? But it was one of those things where it was like, from what I understand, it was all last minute, and it just kind of fell into lap. So they were able to do it. But they can't post the footage as of right now. I know I remember somebody at the CSW Twitter was like, what matches do you want to see on YouTube except that match? So I'm sure eventually that'll get YouTube.
Yeah, the powers that be are working on it, so that's all we need to know.
It's a really good match, but it was crazy though. I was like, because I'm thinking, it was like, oh my god, because I'm curious, did they know in advance that they weren't able to show the match, or did they think they would be able to? Because I can't imagine. I don't know. It's not my sandbox.
Yeah, it's above my pay grade, brother. All I know is it was like, wow, and like, oh no, I missed out. But hey, you can't be everywhere at once, so I'm sure there'll be something else that goes, next time. Definitely not missing another CSW show after that one. Because they're like, oh, okay, I've seen this guy before. Oh, I could probably miss it. And then boom, it's Ospreay and Fletcher. I hadn't seen Fletcher since that he did a nice little run, All Out weekend, like 2 years ago, and he was at the shows prior to your debut for GCW.
Oh, was he? Okay.
He was at the GCW show the Saturday before.
Oh, okay.
And he did AEW, he did Dynamite, he did Rampage, he also did AAW.
Okay, so he bounced around that week.
He did, yeah. Him and the other guy, Davis. So, but definitely that was like, wow, we haven't seen him in a couple of years. It would have been amazing. But yeah, I had to get your take on that. And like they killed it. Skye and Kyle, they killed it. And for anybody who thinks that intergender wrestling isn't relevant, well, they need to watch that one when it comes out. I saw most of the moves, or what you call spots, or most of the stunts and stuff.
I think
not the full match.
Intergender wrestling is very needed on the indies, especially because there's only so many women out there, and you have plenty of women wrestlers who are like, yeah, I'll wrestle a guy, and like that's an opportunity to put them with somebody that's really good, and they can learn something from that guy who anywhere else who strictly does women versus woman what it
Yeah.
wouldn't have been able to do. So I am very much a proponent for intergender wrestling. You know, I've accepted that it'll never happen in the big leagues.
Right.
Like it's just never gonna happen. They have their own divisions. But on the indies, you know, I think when you're in a pinch, like maybe because like, you know, if you book 2 women and one woman flakes, but you still have this one, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna send them home without getting paid, or are you gonna use them?
Right.
I'd get with them I'd get with them and do what I could to be like, hey, they dropped off. What can we do? And you know, if they're willing to wrestle a guy, throw them out there. You know, find this if you're that worried about realism, find the smallest guy or find
Yeah.
like somebody that's their same frame or same build or whatever, as close as you can get it. Or there's ways to do it. It's just it's hard, but there's ways to do it, you know. And
Sure.
like I think I know it's a debated topic, but I think intergender wrestling is very important.
For sure. I do too. And I think, we've seen a lot of it in CSW and other promotions. They're really going with it, and we get to see a lot of bigger matches that way, you know?
I
Right?
think Adam Stallion's 2022 was just him wrestling the women's division. I actually think we made a joke once, like, why hasn't Adam gotten a shot at the women's title? Because if anybody deserves it, it's.
Oh, are you there?
Sorry, I'm back.
No, you're good.
Yeah, but like if anybody deserves a shot at the title, it's him, you know, because he's wrestled like half that division.
Right. That's true. And we have to, I have to mention Heather Reckless leaving
Yeah.
CSW. And I mean, you know how hard that is because you're kind of, though yours wasn't announced, you know, as hers was, you're kind of like your departure as well, but you're still staying in the area. Obviously, she's moving away.
She's moving into another scene. But yeah, mine was more. I don't think many people knew. The only people that knew I was leaving was like people in my match, maybe one other person, a few other people, and obviously Hades. But like, there was no big deal about it, which is fine. I'm glad I told Derek, who edits the show, about it because he left in the outro to the match of me waving goodbye to the crowd.
Okay.
I'm glad he did, and I texted him, I'm like, thank you for doing that. And he said, he made a joke, goes, yeah, I edited out all this other stuff. I was like, well, I appreciate that.
Right.
And we just talked about it, just chatted up. But yeah, that was very happy to see that that was left in, and I was able to, you know, use the clip to say goodbye.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a personal decision? Like you just felt you needed some time yourself, or?
You know, it was just time to move on. So I'm on to almost 3 years with them. I started, like I said, at the training academy in August. Was in the pre-show royal that same month, and then onward, almost 3 years later, I'm waving goodbye to another home promotion of mine because, of course, I started with somebody else.
Right.
First started, and I debuted with them in January of 21. Then left in August of 21, joined CSW. Then I debuted in their Royal. And then since then, you know, I've gotten to have that awesome feud with Miller. I've gotten to have the feud with TJ. There's a lot more I wish that could have came out of that, but you know, it wasn't meant. It got really muddied with Boz when you're adding Boz and this guy, that guy, and not calling out Boz, by the way. It's just
Sure.
But like, then it got turned into this whole thing. You know, is what it is. I mean, I'm not mad about it. It's just one of those deals though, where like, I saw writing on the wall, where it's just like, I think it's just time to move on. So
Yeah.
gave notice. Just literally like a 30-second conversation, and then that was it. And then finished. I won't lie, when I gave that notice leading up to the May match. I'm like kind of waiting for the graphic to come out, and I'm not on the graphic because some people are like that. Like, cause like I remember I quit Rockford, and said I'll finish in October. The guy says sure. Then the next day he says, yeah, I don't need you. It was one of those you can't quit, you're fired kind of deals. So I didn't know if this was going to be the same thing, but then sure enough, they post the match graphic. There I am. I'm like, okay, I am doing the show. And then we finished up. I gave Hades a big hug afterward, thanked him for everything, and then gave Boz a huge hug, who was, I think, a few drinks in. He said, love you, baby. And he said, please keep coming to the school. I was like, of course. I've been trying to go like every other week. Just depends on like money and scheduling and such and work. Because for all the weekends I wrestle, work needs me sometimes on practice days. So, and I'm not gonna say no to a place that's been really, really generous with my wrestling schedule. So, it is what it is there, and I know I've been saying that a lot, but it's just, yeah. I'm sure I'll be back eventually. I don't know when. It could be a year from now, it could be 5 years from now, maybe never. But as time passes, at least with CSW and that promotion, I'm going to look back fondly on it. It's hard to look back fondly on the first place I trained at, I won't lie. And as the time grows, I'm slowly forgetting that place. And but with W at the very least, I have a lot of good memories. Like I said, the feud with Miller was amazing, and I loved it. It was just two drunk guys fighting each other.
Love it. That was great.
People was competing. It was great, and people loved it. They just, two big guys just hated each other, and it was so simple, but it worked. And like I said, I think as time goes by, the gripes will dissipate. And all I have is the good memories, the good times. And like I said, I'm still cool with Katie, still cool with Boz, still cool with everybody. Still going to train. They're still my trainers. And I will always consider them as my trainers. So I'm just glad I'm still able to do the school, because I was wondering if was this going to affect that, and no, thankfully it didn't, because I had backup plans just in case, but like. I'm just glad. No, of course you can still train here. I'm like, all right, because I want to make sure,
For sure. And you did have to like kind of sell that there was that brief time. It was like 1 or 2 shows you had to sell that you weren't at CSW. So that was dates you had to kind of give up or couldn't wrestle. Did you have to give up those dates, wrestling entirely, or?
So the whole deal was I had pitched that we go 6 months of me doing these different run-ins, like coming in at different angles, doing this and that. And then, so how it all started was, I'm really trying to peel my mind back here. In August, Full Queer out in San Francisco agrees to book me in October. And it was the day after CSW. So I texted Hades. I told him what was up. I said, can I please do this? It's a big opportunity to go out in California. He said, absolutely. He said, we'll figure something out. I said, cool. So September rolls around. He goes, okay, we're going to do this angle. Or no, excuse me. TJ is going to fire you. And then that explains why you're not there in October. And then November, you do come back. I said, okay. So, and I told him, like, what we'll do is I will not set up merch. I will not post anything. I will not advertise the show. I'm just going to be a total surprise every time. And he said, okay, sounds good. So then, and I pitched the ideas like, we could do this 6 months. Just me doing run-ins, and everything. Like, you don't have to worry about putting me in a match, or if you have to put me in a like unsanctioned matches, whatever works. But like, we could just keep doing these run-ins. So November we did the run-in, and I did the run-in on November. January did the run-in. That's where he decided I was going to be reinstated, though. So about 2 months. So they did the angle where they were going to break my hand. and they filmed it, and we did the handbrake. So what I did was I bought 2 braces, and I let Hayes know, I was like, I'm gonna wrestle everywhere in the Indies with this brace to sell it. So like, there's been a couple matches where literally heels are working my broken hand,
Right.
like, and it was great. So like, but like I joked, was like, I think I got more miles out of that outside of CST. Because
Right.
people were like, oh shit, his hand, there's a brace on his hand. So fans are really like, oh crap, his hand's broke or something.
Right.
Hurt hand. So like, so it was fun. So February, I think I have the match, and then March, I'm not even on the show. And I think March, that was supposed to be when I lost the brace. So I was wearing a brace for 2.5 months, and
Right.
March, I'm not even on the show, and they just had me do a really squeezed in running because I wasn't even on the run sheet. So I was like, hey, I'm not on this run sheet. And he's like, oh, okay. And then like I was like, what do you want me to do exactly? And it was a whole tiff there. And finally, I was like, fine, okay, you do this run in, blah 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 blah. That sort of deal. So I did the deal where Eric grabs me, I push him off, and the thing slides off my hand, the brace. Have Eric hold the brace, and then turn around, and then I bop him with less because the hand's fully healed. Flat, nothing. Crowd didn't react. They had no idea what was happening, and that kind of sucked, that reaction. But at the bright side, I didn't have to worry about wearing a brace because I wore that brace to the gym at practice.
Wow.
The only place I did not wear on stream while I was playing video games.
So,
wow. And the only place I did not wear that brace was at home when I was off camera, so when I wasn't streaming, and when I was at work. Which, of course, I think a fan recognized me too. So, and they didn't see. I was like, of course. But that literally, I wore that brace everywhere.
Wow.
And it just
I
sucked
love
because,
that.
like, yeah. So and then, oh my God, I got rid mercilessly at practice because they're like, why are you wearing that? We know like you don't have to wear that here. I'm like, okay, but people take pictures. Like people here take selfies all the time. Well, if I'm in the background, I don't got a brace on my hand. Like that's what I'm thinking about. And all my selfies with the brace. One thing I was concerned about was I was worried one of the Planet Fitness people were going to ask about, like, what's with the brace, and then I would have had to either, because like I was just telling people I heard it wrestling. Like I didn't tell them the truth, but
right.
they didn't need to know. They didn't need to know that. But like I was worried I was gonna have to fess up to them because I was worried they're gonna be like, no, you can't work out. You got a broken hand. Which, insurance reasons, I'd probably say the same thing,
Right.
but it just sucked to have that brace on for that long and pretty much every day of my life for 2-3 months just to get a reaction.
I know.
It is what it is, but it was cool. And I had a lot of old school guys like Dazzling Donnie and Shane Eaton, Scott Spade, Jimmy Blaze. A lot of them were just like, we appreciate you so much for going out your way to do that because, not everybody would, no, who does that these days? I even had somebody tell me that goes, I look at you do that. I wouldn't do that. But the fact that you are that dedicated to it, like that shows you who you are. I was like, yeah, so I'm glad that I was it. It's nice that I'm gaining the respect of like the local vets, because like I appreciate the foundation they laid for all of us.
Yeah.
So to gain their even more respect out of them, all from just wearing a brace everywhere I go, that's worth more than gold to me. And,
oh yeah.
But it was fun, the only person who questioned it, the only promoter rather, was actually Jeremy from Second. He was like, do you have to wear it? I was like, yes. Yes, because if there's any crossover, if there's any fan crossover from CSW to second, they got to see that brace. And goes, okay,
Yeah.
all right, fine. You know, but well, he's like, I'll think of something for you too. And I think that's how I ended up in that one match with Larkin and Aries
Aries
Creed.
Creed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was one more competitor, David Ali, or was it? Or
I don't remember. I'll have to look at my match note. But
yeah,
yeah,
go back.
but yeah, it was fun. You know, for what it was fun, and it was like as soon as every time I would tell a heel that, some people thought it was legit. Like JWA, they're like, "Are we concerned about Moondog?" And I remember one of them was like, "Why?" He goes, "Well, his hand." He goes, "That's his hand is fine." And they're like, "Oh," but some people believed it. I
Yeah,
had people in the wrestling business believe I looked at my hands. So,
that's awesome.
so you know, again, yeah. That's something I'm proud of. So I don't regret it. I'm glad I did it. I'll do it again if I have to. I hope not, but I'll do it again because I believe like, and these days with the internet, it's hard because like people know, people know it's a part of the show, but like to see me wear it, I can at least make them think, oh, he must have hurt his hand for real, and that's his explanation as to why his hand is in a brace. But
Right.
all right, none of that is true.
Yeah, in this case, yeah, that's amazing, man. Hey, can you give me a second? I just have to plug something
Yeah.
in quick. And we don't have dedication like that nowadays to storylines or to anything like that. You know what I mean? I feel like it's lost. You know, we have like people that are supposed to be together in real life, or are not supposed to be together in real life. They're supposed to be with the person that they're on the show with, and then I don't want to mention any names, but they're posting pictures, with their husband and with their significant other.
Yeah, that's the hard part. That's one of the harder parts too for that one is like, because especially say you're feuding with a guy in one promotion, but you're tagging with him in another promotion. Like, there's things you can't help like that, but like things like me wearing a brace, that's something I had total control over.
Sure.
So I was able to get away with it. But like, yeah, it's a little harder. Like, I remember like during mine and Mateo's feud at POW, we had a match at Fourth Wall there where Marman's like, yeah, let's have you two wrestle. You guys wrestled before. It was like, okay. I think I was more heelish in the match than Mateo was, even though in the POW feud, it's uh, role reversal. But yeah, it's just some things you can't control. Or I think I remember too. I feel like I tagged with Mateo somewhere somewhere else, and then like me and Joey are usually fighting or tagging. Um, yeah, those are some examples. But yeah,
For sure. And you and Mateo did have this big rivalry. You had the big match, Summer Pride, the dog collar match. So whose idea was that to be in this dog collar match? Who brought that up to you? Or
it was originally, yeah, it was originally supposed to be a beauty supply match.
okay.
Along the way, it got turned into a dog collar match. I don't know whose idea it was. I don't remember if it was Mateo's or Jimmy's or somebody. But I didn't know till probably like 2 months before that they changed to that. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds good. The only thing I was worried about was there's a guy named Mad Dog Connolly who's like the king of like dog collar matches.
Oh
So
yeah.
like I hit him up. I hit him up and told him, I was like, hey, I'm in a dog collar match. Do you have any pointers, advice, or something like that? I worked him in JWA. We had a fun match. I'd love to work him again. It'd be so much fun. And he said, yeah. And he told me everything. He sent me some matches to watch, which were some really good matches. For reference. And so shout out to him. So Mateo, I don't know if he watched any dog collar matches leading up to it, but I was watching some of them, so I was pretty much, uh, it was pretty much like I knew some. I had some inspiration going in, thankfully, and we had the match. I hit my head off the post and I got busted open. I was trying to get Mateo to open it up more.
Oh wow! So this was
And
not planned.
he didn't
Was it?
know. He didn't know what I meant. So I
Oh, okay.
said, I think I told him stiff me, and he starts stiffing me in the neck. I'm like, no, my head. And he gives me a legit headbutt, and I'm just oh god. And it started running from there, thankfully. But like, it wasn't when your first time bleeding is a bloodbath.
Right.
It was a little bit concerning and underwhelming in the moment because I'm thinking, oh my god, there's no way I look that bad, and but every time I touch my head, there's blood. So I'm like, obviously I'm bleeding. And then I saw some of the photos and video back, and I saw like, no, I was bleeding, but not to the extent that I was in Rockford. Which Jimmy told me if it gets to that extent, he's stopping the match and he's making me pay for the canvas. So thankfully, it didn't go that bad. But I remember in the moment going, oh my God, is this even good? I don't know. But like, but yeah, I bounced my head off the corner, and then it just like a little bit started coming down. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Wow. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But talk about how you thought about this finish. Is this going to be the end, or I'm sure you and Mateo are going to have some more
As of
matches.
right now, we finished in that dog collar. It was a 7-month program, or 7-month feud. And when it was over, it was like, oh, shoot, it's like 7 months of my life just finished there. I think I don't think the match has been posted yet, so I haven't been able to watch it back. But I feel like if we were to do it again, it would be even better. But I feel like that's gonna be something that's always gonna be the opinion I always have.
Yeah.
Like, I bet we could do it better. I bet we could do it better. That sort of deal. But like, we had some really good matches leading up to it. Like the Rage match was great. I love the match in T-Wood where I jumped him from the crowd because
Oh,
I
I remember.
dressed
I saw that.
I dressed up in a winter coat, and I covered my face with like a face covering. I think it was like a t-shirt or something tied around my head. And I sat in the crowd on hard cam side for a match or two. And I kept seeing these girls get up and move. And then after the word, so when I got up, people see this guy in a coat and mask. I start taking everything off, and they realize, oh, that's Moondog. So after the match, after the show, I'm talking to the girls I kept seeing getting up while I was sitting out there, and they go, "We thought you had a bomb or a gun."
Oh my God! Oh, wow!
So they went to Magnus King at the time, who was bodyguarding. He was a security. He's a trainee at POW. Which is funny because when I walked in, I walked through the front door and I walked past MJ, who was taking tickets, and Magnus puts his big arm around me and goes, "Got a ticket?" I was like, "It's me." He has this look. I'm like, "It's Greg." Oh, and he lets me through. So I sit down. So I guess they ran to security and they ran to Jen, who was taking 50-50 raffles, and they were like, there's a guy over there. I'm not really comfortable with him being over there." And they look over and they knew it was me. They're like, "Oh, it'll be fine." And they're like, and these girls like, "I don't know, man." And sure enough, when they saw me take it off and they realized it was me, they're like, "Oh, thank God, it's a wrestler."
Wow!
A friend of mine was also in the crowd, and she saw me and she's looking at me and she goes, "I think that's a wrestler. I think she saw my wrist tape. She might have seen my boots."
Mm-hmm.
When I got to the back after, I got a text going, "There's a guy sitting here. Is it you?" Because I left my phone in the back, obviously. And they're like, "Is that you sitting there?" And I text back, "Yeah, that was me. That was me, LOL." And they're like, "Well, no shit, it was you. I saw you get up."
Wow!
But yeah, they thought I was like a terrorist or something and could just
Oh my
chilling there.
God!
It's so sad because these days, you never know. So like, it's not irrational for them to think that. But thankfully, no. It was
No.
just thinking of sneaky ways to beat up Mateo. Like all it was.
Right. Love it. I love it, but yeah, you're right. It's kind of it's kind of a scary scenario for the wrong person.
Yeah, it's scary. It's messed up, but it's
I know.
okay.
I thought the same way.
So it is hilarious now.
And then yeah, it was funny actually. It was at Galley. It was at the end of the show, and Axel Rico was in the main event, and Skye Blue was literally right by me, and I was like, "Hey, Skye." I thought she was just watching the show or something, and she was like, "No," And then she didn't want me to bother her, and she did a run-in.
Ah,
Well, she wasn't wearing a mask and a jacket, but what I mean. But she was
a shady figure.
yes, just the way she was crouched too, like right by the chair. She was like sitting in the chair and then she started crouching. But it's pretty cool though. The movements, you got to be really accurate with your movements, right?
Oh yeah,
when you're doing something like that. Also you and Mayberry. AHW, you don't have any update about this for you two as the tag team champions, right? As of late?
I was told August 5th, and then the show canceled. So I'm up in the air too. I don't know either. I've talked to Brad. He runs sound for NWA Chicago. I've asked him. He goes, "I'm still looking into it." He goes, and he's telling me some details. I was like, okay, but like as of right now, no. I still have my belt. I'm sure Joey still has his, but I
Sure.
just it's there. I'm waiting.
Yeah. Could you think you would tag with him somewhere else?
We have in Rockford, and I was kind of hoping we wouldn't CSW, but there was kind of an edict where if we're tagging outside of CSW, they didn't really want to do the same thing.
Sure.
Which, okay. They still think we could have done it, but again, if that's the prerogative, that's the prerogative. But like, I'm trying to think of other places. But no, I think the only places we teamed outside of AHW was Rockford, and I haven't done Northland in like a year or two, and Northland hasn't even been running, so that would have been another obvious place for us to team, but we not.
So and then I did want to talk about that Pride show you did recently, and how fun was that to be there? I was you, Mateo, Joey Mayberry, I think Shelly, you in the Rainbow Crew. Is that a fair name to call you all? Or
pretty much. Skittles, one of the two. But yeah, no, they were it was a fun show as always. I remember last year there was more Pride shows, but they kind of dwindled to just pretty much POW. It's funny because I remember June of 2022, I only had 2 bookings. And since then, June has become one of my busiest months. Like, because June of 23, I had like 10 shows. This month, I have like 8. So and then 2 of them being huge opportunities. One being going to California, then flying back the next morning for NWA Chicago. So
oh wow,
really cool deals. It happened in June for me, which I'm thankful for, obviously. The Pride show itself, though, it was like a 10-match show. I think it was badass show as always. Like they had some of the Wrestle League guys there, like oh god, I'm blanking on people's names, but yeah, they Shogun Chris Logan was there, Adonis, Quinn Whittick. So like a couple of Wrestle League guys were there, and they wrestled with the POW guys, and you also had Joey Mayberry opening the show. Had Shelly the Bombshell wrestle. Who did she wrestle? Sierra. So and those two have great chemistry. I think I even asked her, I was like, "Do you even call anything anymore with her?" And she goes, "Eh."
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like Fun show as always. I sold out. Building was sold out, and building was loud. It was funny when we did the main event dog collar match. I think, there's a few fans that knew what a dog collar match was, but I think for the first time, a lot of those people were seeing a dog collar match for the first time, and they're just kind of. I remember it was quiet. It was eerily quiet for the start, because but like not like a bad quiet. It felt like a what are we looking at kind of quiet. And then as the match kept going, they were getting into like, oh, okay, seeing the chain get used and everything, and it was fun, It sucks because I remember I'm just trying to hit Mateo with that chain. I'd hit him, but but it wasn't as hard because he hit me, and oh my god, I was all bruised up from that chain. He did not held back, and I'm so glad they didn't, because I remember one of our last matches he whipped a punch, and I got mad at him. I'm like, because like I was supposed to duck it, but I didn't. I was like, you hit me if I don't duck. So it's hard because he beat the crap out of me with that chain. It didn't hold back, so I'm glad. But yeah, I was. But that probably, if there's a wrestling show you want to hit up, like must sees, definitely gay brunches. I know. I think Effie is not doing one in Chicago this year. I don't remember. I'm not sure.
Oh,
Probably see as we get closer to that. I know he was posting about how this latest one will probably be the last one for a little while, and then he said, he made a pretty good point. Why don't you guys have your own gay brunches? Just make your own. Why do I gotta do it?
right.
I love Effie so much. Those were good ones that you don't want to miss. Pyle's Pride show's another one, I think, and Wrestle Rage. Those two shows are must see. They're always great cards and great shows, and everybody goes balls out because they're big matches.
Yeah, for sure. And you're also going to be in California, right?
Yes.
End of the month.
7-way scramble.
Oh wow.
Yeah, insanity. I'm looking forward to it. But holy crap! There's 7 people in this ring. Well, 8 if you count the ref. So I'm like,
Wow.
so I'm excited. It's just gonna be insane because and it's for the Wrestle Drag Championship, which it's Wrestle Drag Championship. I keep mixing them up with Pride Style, but Wrestle Drag, and which is funny because that's a promotion I think I've sent my resume to once or twice. So that'd be pretty cool, making that connect. So there's something out of that, other than probably what's going to be an insane match, insanity. But for the championship, and being I've sent Wrestle Drag my resume once or twice, that'd be one hell of a way to get in Wrestle Drag. Then to win their, and then they have to book me at that point.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But
and you're flying out to California every month, right?
I don't know about every month because oh my god, California's expensive. But for every 2-3 times a year, hell yeah, let's do it. But
and that's on the is that on the 27th?
Yes, Thursday. It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday show. Oh, interesting. I know Shelly's there, Mateo, Joey.
Mateo actually had to pull out due to personal reasons. So I know me, Joey, and Shelly would be there for sure.
All right.
I think Shelly's in. I know Joey's in a 4-way. Shelly, I think, is in a 6-woman tag. I'll have to look back at the cards, but yeah. But earlier talking about the Wrestle Drag thing, like obviously it's all I'm not trying to be a jerk saying that. By the way, I'm just
sure, no worries.
I'm digging this hole way deeper than it needs to be. But yeah,
actually you have to actually compete in drag, or is that?
No. It's just
okay.
Wrestle, that's definitely a promotion I'd love to wrestle, especially in Arizona too. So like, there's another thing I can pick off the bucket list of wrestling all 50 states. So Wrestle Drag definitely would be a great place for me to hit up. See what happens, I guess, after 27th. But for now, try to win the belt and get booked that way.
and so you're gonna any big drives coming up for you, or long drives?
Michigan in July. It's about it. It's usually
Okay.
Michigan, which is like from Belvedere. It's 5.5 hours. Usually I'll crash at either Shelly's or my friend Drew's place, and that saves me a good hour and a half usually. So one of those days, or excuse me, that's usually my longest journey. And other than that, no, all my other big trips were just flights. Yeah, I'm willing to drive if anybody wants to book me. So hey, the
Yep.
DMs book right, that sort of deal.
Yeah, we got SummerSlam coming up in Cleveland, so it's not too far.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's any shows going on out there.
probably. There's a cool little scene out there. That's another
Yeah.
place I'd love to hit up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, Greg, I appreciate you again. Best of luck, of course. This Sunday, second wrestling for the Maxwell Street Heritage Championship, an opportunity in that big 5-way match. And we appreciate you being on PWE. Just let the fans know how to follow you and anything you want to plug. Go ahead.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter, Moondog Murray. Instagram and Facebook is Moondog Greg Murray. DMs are always open, and bookgregmurray@gmail.com is always open for any business inquiries. I love to get out more and get outside the Chicago bubble and such. So please, by all means, if you want to hit me up, that's the best way to do it, through DMs or bookgregmurray@gmail.com.
Great. I appreciate you, Greg, being on the podcast once again, PWE Report. Appreciate you. And I have don't forget, I still got a shirt for you next time. I
Awesome.
have it's a Sunday. So before I let you go, can you do a quick shout out for PWE? And I'm going to stop this recording. Okay, great.